Over the past few weeks, Daystar Television Network, the Christian TV empire founded in 1997 by the late Joni Lamb, made headlines over a shocking controversy involving the family-run organization.
Daystar president Joni Lamb accuses son Jonathan of fabricating a smear campaign.
One of the most influential voices in Christian broadcasting, Joni Lamb, president of Daystar Ministries, stepping forward to accuse her own son.
Here's what we know of the shocking Daystar TV claims.
During their time at Daystar, former Daystar Vice President Joni Lamb and his wife Suzy Lamb say they were spiritually abused by Jonathan's mother, Daystar President Joni Lamb, and her close ally, Jimmy Evans.
Hey guys, Jonathan and Suzy Lamb here. We just wanted to get on here because so many of you have been concerned about how we're doing, and we just wanted to let you know that we no longer work at Daystar. A lot has been going on over the last couple of years that we just couldn't talk about.
Lamb's son Jonathan and his wife, Suzy, alleged their young daughter was molested by a family member and that the horrific ordeal was improperly handled. Those stunning allegations come amid a dispute over leadership changes within Daystar. Jonathan had served as a vice president but was demoted in April after purportedly declining to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA.
Daystar was contacted for a comment by the journalist Friday, November 15th, and then I was subsequently fired the following day, November 16th.
Audio provided to investigative reporter Julie Roys features Jonathan and a representative from Daystar speaking about a document Jonathan had declined to sign and an ultimatum. This audio, which doesn't provide context on the document he's being asked to inscribe, is reportedly from last November. The drama surrounding Jonathan's relationship with Daystar is unclear, though the situation reportedly intensified after this exchange, as he was terminated by the network earlier this month over what the organization allegedly called deficiencies in his judgment and performance.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes today to speak from my heart to the Daystar family and friends. Recently, Daystar made the decision to terminate my son Jonathan Lamb's employment. That decision was not taken lightly. It followed a 15-month review of Jonathan's performance and his refusal to take any steps to satisfy a detailed performance improvement plan put in place.
The situation is complicated by the fact that Jonathan's sisters and brothers-in-law are also on staff at Daystar, possibly adding multiple intricacies to an already difficult scenario. Plus, Jonathan alleges he was always intended to be his father's successor. Joni Lamb died in 2021 due to complications with COVID-19, leaving his wife, Joni, to serve as president of Daystar. Jonathan had served as a vice president but was demoted in April after purportedly declining to sign a non-disclosure agreement, NDA. But that plans changed once he and Suzy made the allegations reported by Roys.
During their time at Daystar, former Daystar Vice President Joni Lamb and his wife Suzy Lamb say they were spiritually abused by Jonathan's mother, Daystar President Joni Lamb, and her close ally, Jimmy Evans.
Just days after a family dispute over these claims, Jonathan said his father sent an email to the family announcing a different succession plan and noting that his wife, Joni, would take over Daystar if he died. Jonathan told Roys he believed that decision was a punishment for the abuse claims he made surrounding his daughter. Joni passed away just 3 months after that email was sent, and Joni subsequently took over. Jonathan and Suzy Lamb released a video last month explaining why they've gone public with their claims.
Some scary things happened, being followed, private investigators, intimidation, threats. Even through all of that, things don't stop, so we felt like we had no other option but to reach out to a journalist. When you bring things to the light, things, get better. So that's what we did.
Absolutely.
The two said they felt God calling them to speak out and deemed they had no other option.
And I really felt from the Lord that even though a lot of wrong had been done to me, that I was to stand firm in the position that God had called me to and to not walk away.
They also previewed that they had shared their story with other reporters, including Roy's. "We never dreamed this would be our lives," Suzy said in the video, with the two noting they are in an undisclosed location over safety fears. "We begged God for months and months that he would take it any other route, but we have to obey in the end." Roy's report, released after that video, sheds light on the allegations and the heart of the complicated matter.
Spiritual abuse happens when people use God or their supposed relationship with God to control people for their benefit. And in this video, Joni Lamb is upset because Jonathan and Suzy refused to read a listener comment praising her recent marriage to sex therapist Doug Weiss. So she brings in her ally, Jimmy Evans, and for 90 minutes they tell Jonathan and Suzy to submit to Joni, claiming she's the voice of God and that together they're representatives of God.
In Roy's article, Jonathan and Suzy are quoted saying their young daughter revealed a few years ago that she had been molested. At the time, the child didn't identify the man outside of a few characteristics. Over time, the couple began to suspect an unidentified family member who Roy's only referred to as Pete. Several factors added to these suspicions, including a story Pete allegedly told in which the child walked in on him when he was naked in the bathroom. After revealing the molestation, the little girl also allegedly became scared to go to Daystar, where Pete worked, according to Roy's. Joni also put out a video responding to the allegations by stating it is a smear campaign motivated by the decision not to make Jonathan president of Daystar. She added that the judgment to terminate her son was made after a 15-month review of his work as well as a refusal to improve his performance. Rather than take any steps to improve his performance at Daystar, it seems clear now that Jonathan was focused on fabricating a smear campaign, Joni said. "You see, Jonathan was extremely disappointed that he was not named future president of Daystar following the death of his father and my husband, Marcus, despite the fact that Marcus had clearly given a directive to the family and to the board that I would succeed him as president." She continued, "His disappointment in not getting his way only deepened when I married Doug Weiss, who has been such a blessing to me, the rest of my family, and Daystar." Joni also accused Jonathan in a written statement of escalating the situation to attempted blackmail to try and make himself president of the network. She said she had no choice but to speak out, and denied any wrongdoing. "I want to assure you that all the allegations that are circulating against myself, my late husband and other members of my family are completely false, and we have already begun to take legal steps to defend ourselves and will address the accusations in a God-honoring way," Joni said. "We stand firm in our faith, knowing that God is with us, and his purpose for Daystar is far greater than any challenge we face." In a response to Roy's, Daystar provided rebuttals and responses to many of the claims shared in her reporting. Mark Daniel, an attorney representing Pete, has also spoken out, penning a letter to Roy's calling the allegations against his client baseless. Pete unequivocally denies the statements made by Jonathan and Suzy Lamb alleging that he engaged in some form of improper contact with any child. He wrote, "Such statements are slanderous. Anyone who knows Pete knows that these statements are false, insulting and demeaning." Daniel also cast doubt on whether Jonathan and Suzy believe the allegations, claiming the couple still traveled with Pete and his family, and echoing some of the claims seen in Joni's video. Jonathan responded to this claim by noting he and Suzy had a strict boundary that didn't allow Pete or his wife to be alone with their daughter, and he had not been welcomed to the home since the 2021 retreat. It's unclear what will happen next, though it seems both sides are doubling down on their positions. The Roy's report has since issued a correction to their original story, stating our initial report said Pete was alone in the room with Jonathan and Suzy's daughter. Pete was holding a baby in his arms and Jonathan and Suzy's son was on a bunk on the opposite side of the room.